Hey, what's up, my freaking flyers? This is Dr. Darren and president of the PHAST Foundation. Hey, welcome to week 7/8, maybe even /9, along our journey to build the fast tracks. If you haven't had the opportunity to subscribe, please consider it. And remember, as always, kindness is currency. So let's do the dang thing.
We held another demo day. We found a sweet office door upstairs. We figured out a system to stack all this wood. We tore down some stuff. We designed our bench for the entryway. We were finalizing our silo downward spiral ride. We found this awesome growth chart. We found where all the leaks were. This led us to a ton of water, which led us to going on the roof and finding all the areas. We found them, circled them, made some customized designs. We actually tried to start up one of the elevators. We found a tree on the roof. We climbed some things. We found an awesome connection to Ray's Indoor Mountain Bike Park. We climbed some more things. We saw some amazing views. We rode some bike tag with my kids. We chased some raccoons. We tore down some stuff. We built some stuff. We spruced up a bunch of bad words. We had our second amazing demo day. We put lights in the entire basement floor. We cleaned up the entire basement floor, and then we ate some glorious pizza. We had our third official demo day, and the turnout was unbonkers believable. People were hustling and bustling. Now, the thing that was fantastic about this demo day is there was nothing glorious about it. We did very little tear down, and mostly what we did was drive out nails. But I got a surprise for next time to increase the speed of that.
This is gonna be our office, but I'm gonna probably move this door. I'm gonna move it over here. And I believe these windows are gonna be into our office. This is gonna be the FAST office. So we'll come over here. I'm gonna take down these walls right here. I'm removing this, and that will reveal that window that was on the other side. And I think this is going to be basically our office area. This is gonna be torn down. I'm gonna frame this off. So this is the edge of the safe right here. And we're gonna frame this off to that wall so that this is this huge accessible apartment. I took measurements for this. This is our entryway. And what I want is, you know, in the Midwest, it's really popular. People have those log last name signs in their yard. Anyways, I want a big one right here, a bench with the back support area, gonna be fast tracks, and then right there, another one that says MTB. So if anybody out there happens to know anybody that does those things, that can make those signs and knows how to make a bench out of a tree, I'll supply the tree. And man, if you're willing to do that, that would be awesome. If not, I'm gonna go find some old country bumpkin who's got the skill set to do it, because this place is gonna be built by Quincy for Quincy. I love it.
One of the larger design and the projects that we're working with is the city is figuring out a way to have easements, safe exits for fire and for... It's bonkers, but this 54,000 square foot building only has one code approved exit. We finally secured our 2 silos. We're finalizing the internal downward spiral ride. And this is our blank canvas. Put in the comments below what you think we should put here. Now this is phenomenal. This just screams family business. I love seeing this. The history, the grandpa. This is a phenomenal historical piece that I'm hoping to keep and preserve, or at least somehow pass it on to the previous owners in the family. I love absolutely everything about this. Now, as many of you have noticed throughout many videos, there's consistently water spots throughout all 3 levels. They're coming from the roof. Now, we've had structural engineers and the fire department come in, and the roof ain't going anywhere. It is steel and concrete. But the waterproofing surface on top of that said steel and concrete has eroded, and it has not been replaced in a while. And so what we did mainly is walk around and we paced off where these water spots off were to vertical landmarks, places that I could, when going up onto the roof, I could pace it off backwards to try to locate where these were. So we just walked around basically the larger spots, tried to visualize where it was coming from, if it was a leak from a sidewall on the 2nd floor, or if it was just a continuous leak coming from the roof surface area. There are a number of chimneys in this building, and any one of those could be access to water. Once water starts finding a track, it will go horizontal, sideways, vertical. It defies the law of gravity sometimes, and it's really hard to track down. So basically, we're just walking around trying to figure out where the sources are and pacing them off, counting them up, and so that once we go on top of the roof, we can start to mark them and locate them. Now, this is probably by far the largest space. You can see the kind of the corrosion of the concrete, and you can see by the collection system that we have here that there has been a lot of water for a lot of years. So we just continued this process, found a watt spot on the ground, went up, looked up vertically, tried to pace out based on landmarks so that when we went upstairs, we'd have a good place and at least a rough estimate of where things were coming from. So up to the rooftop we go. And let me tell you, this exit that they designed is not up to code. It is not going to be used because it is very slow. And I feel like one of those magician's assistants who has to contort his body to get into a box so that the person can be sawed in half. But we eventually figured out a method. We were able to scooch our way out of here to gain access onto the roof. And every time I do it, I feel like I gotta stretch it out so I don't pull a hammy. Back to work. Yeah, buddy. Let's not forget my favorite principle by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, that those that find the greatest happiness are those that find enjoyment and purpose in the most mundane things. Harry Potter, or honor of my third daughter who currently has braces. Now, hole after hole, I marked and spray painted. Now, what on earth am I supposed to do with this huge old beast? Now, one of the benefits of coming up on the roof is I finally got to explore a couple of the structures that I've been really wanting to. The elevator towers. So this was really cool. Let's show you inside. Inside were these massive, almost like train-like engines and transmissions and gearboxes and electrical power boxes. Basically dicey in the safest of terms. Like a person who's told not to think of pink elephants, you only can think of pink elephants. All I wanted to do was touch buttons and get this sucker running. Here's a spider pig view. I just love the disorientation that it brings. This is the upside down view of the third floor. You know, just a friendly reminder that sometimes we need a different perspective when problems face us, or just learning to view the world in a different light. I just can like almost sense the history in this room and the workers that have been in here, the people that have turned these cranks and oiled these joists and ball bearings. And so I'm super excited to do what I probably shouldn't do, which is see if I can get it running.
Well, I don't think this is up to code, if you know what I mean. But how sick is that? That's so cool. I have no idea. Anyways, this elevator is just going to be dismantled anyways. It's in the south part of the building, and I don't want a freight elevator that's not completely contained really to have any access to any kids. And I also need to use the elevator shaft as access for a couple ramps that we're building. So anyways, we've contacted a local elevator company, and we are going to basically cut the cables and just let it fall and dismantle it. And it's going to be the cheapest option. It's kind of sad because, I mean, it is a wicked cool elevator, but it's going to cost more than $10,000 to $15,000 to update it and bring it up to code. Really for no purpose, and I just don't want, it's a safety issue as well. So, this is so cool. How sweet would it have been if it just kicked on and whoop, we figured out the elevator. Alas, some things must perish with time. Guess what else I discovered? I think this is one of the sources of leaks. What do you think? We got this. I got a tree. I got a tree growing in the corner of my building. So, it's the rear side of the building. So I'm gonna snip. I'm cutting that sucker. All right, on to the next tower. I'm coming for you.
Now in college, I had a couple buddies that got really into rock climbing. But you know, my total body weight versus finger grip strength ratio, if that's even a thing, was totally skewed. But I got pretty good at bouldering. Now as we got up here, we got to have a really good view of the main building's roof. And you can see that there is quite a bit of damage and age and wear and tear on it. But hey, we got our own soybean or alfalfa plot up here. And so maybe we can grow some stuff up here. Now this thing is pretty dang cool. Now I first came up here, it's almost, I think it's a ventilation shaft from the third floor, the boiler or heating system. But what's really cool is on the top, they have this like weather vane thing, which basically catches the wind. And so whatever direction the wind is going, it turns this unit, and whatever fumes that are coming out of it, it's gonna go with the wind and be drawn away from the building. It just blows me away, the incredible ingenuity that was around back then. And the first time I came around the back of this and I saw this, it caught my eye where this was made, Cleveland, Ohio. That is the very location of where the Rays Indoor Mountain Bike Park is. This is made in 1873. I love that connection. As we continued to walk around, you could see obvious locations where most likely the sources of leaking are going to be. This is the main elevator shaft that spans the entire 3 floors of the building. We'll come back to that. But you can see all these uproots and basically mini gardens that are growing on top. We'll level these, probably tar them, cover them with paper, and here's a settling body of water. So the pitch of the roof is obviously depressed or flattened, the obviously location of stagnant water. Now this is a really cool chimney. This is probably the only chimney that I know that Santa Claus could actually fit down. And this goes all the way down into the basement, the subfloor, which would be 4 floors from where I'm standing, into the boiler room. Here's the empty plot. Still, I want to know what you guys want us to build out here. All right, it's time to get our King Kong on and climb up the top of this elevator shaft access door. I've been up here before, and so I did know that this top door was open. Every time I climb it though, I secretly feel that my wife's tingly senses are being heightened and knowing that I'm doing something stupid. But as you go in, you kind of see a repeat of the other elevator shaft. These huge gearboxes and massive turning wheels that is unbelievable how they're constructed. Now from this vantage point, this is us looking up an additional 2 stories. This is us looking west. Right behind those buildings is the Mississippi River. And if you know your geography and you can imagine it with your mind's eye, over there is the great state of my birth, the state of Oregon. Now this other side I also find really a fun view, because as we open up this old window, which I'm sure hasn't been open in quite some time, we can see across Jersey Street and directly into the back windows of the City Hall. And I don't know why, but I think it's pretty cool that I can wave to the mayor. And here's a bird's eye view of the main area where all the water are coming in. So you can see the tar paper is completely torn away. The middle section, the remaining of the roof looks awesome. But this middle section, the sub area, the cardboard is completely saturated and is the major source of the water. And here's the gearbox, and here's the transmission, I believe, where it gets cranked, turns on the piston. It's gonna crank up these wheels. I don't know how it works, but man, look at the beauty of the cast iron print of this. It is amazing. And you know what they say, what goes up must come down. Down back inside, where I noticed all these small paw prints, and those are raccoon prints. I know where he lives. One of these days I'm gonna catch him. But time to quit exploring, time to get some destruction done and clear some space. This particular area is where the flight deck is gonna enter through. Forget working hard, I wanna play some more with my kids. I love playing bike tech. It is so fun watching my daughter just scream in delight as I chase her around the building. Amazing. Fine, I'll get back to work. Let's just clear this space, we'll let it be. But this is where we're gonna cut these bars and one of the access points to the flight deck, which will give access to our elevated track that goes around and also to the big, huge drop-offs. Now I thought wood was going to be a problem. One of the unexpected problems is finding ways to store and carry all the nails. For every piece of wood I tear down, there's at least 10 to 15 nails in it. I built these little containers out of previous wood to hold them. Now we moved on to the downstairs where we walked around and we were checking the outlets to see if the lines still provided power to all these outlets. Most of the lights that in the basement are halogen lights, long horizontal ones, which I didn't really like, and a lot of them were out. So what I wanted to do is get a bunch of LED lights that could be multi-directional and screw in anywhere. So we got these multi-directional LED lights. So we'll be able to hang them. Now this thing's wired for outlets only. I don't have actual bulb screw-ins. So bought these cool little adapters. And let's see how it brightens it up. Once we knew it worked and we loved it, now it was just forming the assembly line, one after the other, till we've built and plugged in almost 100 lights. Now I was so surprised at how much of a kick I got out of doing this, because this instantly turned the space into more of a potential. Like you could believe and see how the many opportunities that are in it, and it turned this grungy dark space into this awesome bright. Now I discovered an interesting principle once I introduced light to the dungeon. There was tons of graffiti of inappropriate words and gestures all over the walls, but I didn't notice them at first because it was dark. It wasn't until I shone light on it that I realized the imperfections and the hate. So we decided to change all these destructive words and images into something that might make you smile. So next time you're riding around and you see some graffiti, some positive affirmation, just know that it is always possible to make something pretty out of something that was hurtful and ugly. I think that's a good lesson. As we shine light on things, we might discover some more faults, but that is just more and more opportunities to improve. Now look at how awesome this place looks now that there is light and cleanliness. Oh, I just love it. Probably one of my favorite spaces. I love banging things out here by myself. I love the solitude and the mindless work, but I would be straight up lying if I didn't tell you how much it means to me and how much pure appreciation and joy and really hope and optimism that this thing is actually gonna happen, that we're gonna build this thing and it's gonna be an amazing generational shifting thing for this community. We had our third huge demolition day. We had almost 40 people come out, our largest turnout ever. They were working hard, pulling nails, doing destruction, and it was, I think, therapeutic and binding to the community. Everybody that comes to these building days, they are investing sweat equity into the fast tracks. This truly is going to be built by Quincy for Quincy. I love it. Now you remember this wall where I destroyed this huge concrete beast that had been there for 100 years? Yeah, well, I didn't entirely clean up all the rubble. I got the big pieces, but not the little ones. The amazing volunteers made light work of it. We actually even caught one of them dancing. They were so excited. We see you, Lisa, with your big heart and your fancy dance moves. After the downstairs dance party, I went upstairs and started to work with the people that remained up top, where they meticulously and maliciously attacked every board, removing every nail. They were phenomenal. I love you, volunteers. Hands down, one of my favorite memories from these last 2 weeks of working at the Fast Track building has to be of these young boys. Over here on the side, you'll see a huge slab of concrete and rebar. These young boys decided that, armed with just simple hammers, that they were personally going to destroy it so that we could clean up the area. There was no doubt in their mind, their enthusiasm, or their work that they were not going to accomplish the feat. They reminded me that day that no challenge is too large to overcome when we work at it little by little and we do it together. Now when it was all said and done, we got to do my favorite. We lined up and we filled our serving hearts and bellies.
Thanks again for watching. Again, subscribe, consider it. If it's worth your time or entertainment, let's do it. On to week 8 or 9 or 8/9. Who knows? I have no idea how this is gonna go, but I hope you're with us on the journey. Knuckles, noggin. But I've got these squid fingers.